On July 9th, 2020, I had made my recent Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens review video for episode 9. And I want to quickly mention that I want to thank everyone that supported me on that episode. I cannot thank you guys enough for it. I cannot believe of how many views it had gotten. I mean, for me, if only one person watched it, if 5 or 10 people watched it, I would be happy. And you guys have blown up with that episode. So thank you guys. On that day, I talked about in that video, I was so excited to be doing the episode 10 summaries, as I decided to wait until episode 10 to start to do the summaries. And I was so excited to do it. The next day I find out that Yugioh Sevens was going to be going on its second hiatus. After only being a month back into the studio, after being off the first time due to the coronavirus, I was so sad to not be able to do it. And I have been literally been trying to fill the time in between the episode span, the hiatus break that we were going to have, as I've made now 2 theory videos. Hopefully 3 more will be coming out very soon. I did mention in one of those that there was going to be one more after that one, but I have created another one after that. So I had those just to fill in time. I even started some more series on it. But now, on August 1st, 2020, we have now finally gotten the summaries for episode 10. Or I should say summary, because it's not plural. But this, I don't think it might not sound from the tone of my voice, but I am so excited to be getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Not just by getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, but just to get back into doing the review series. I honestly love doing the reviews for this anime, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, for Yu-Gi-Oh! I love doing it, and I'm so excited to get back into it. And I am so excited because I mentioned 3 weeks prior. We were on a 3-week break, which definitely was a lot shorter than it felt. It felt like it was going to be forever before we got it. And now we finally have the summaries, which confirms that Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens is returning to the platform. I don't know. My mind is all over the place. I woke up about 5 and I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't even find out until 10 o'clock today in my time zone, which for some it might be a shock. It actually is not your Eastern Standard Time. Mine is actually the Mountain Time Zone, which is kind of funny. So I kind of got it a little bit earlier than expected, but I am so excited. So I've blambled all. I don't know why I had to do that story, but I'm just jumping with joy, dude. I can't wait to get back into it. But let's get into the actual video. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens episode 10 summary / preview review. This is going to be a series on the channel where I go and read the summary, and if there is a cast list, I will read that as well. Read that, give my thoughts on it, give my thoughts on where it's going to lead, as you know, we don't know until we actually see the episode. I kind of give my thoughts of what I took from it, and basically try to give my predictions for what's going to happen. Now, I want to quickly mention this. This will all be a spoiler type review. If you love not being spoiled on the episodes and just want to see what happens when the episode come out, then do not watch this video until after you watched episode 10. Come back and watch this and just kind of see if my predictions were right or just how much of an idiot I was. I mean, this is just going to be a fun series. I did this for Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns not as much as I had originally wanted to. I actually stopped at episode 108, but that was just because I got too busy with work and stuff like that I just couldn't do it. So yeah, but I'm gonna definitely try to be a lot better with this series on doing the summary and the cast list if we do get them. So yeah, this is just going to be a series that I'm going to be doing. I will only do it once. So even if we get episodes 11 through 13 next for the summaries and the cast list, I will only be doing one at a time after every time I've done my episode review, just because of the fact that I feel like I would want to just be informed of one episode and not the next. So like if in episode 12 we get introduced to a new character and they actually say the name and you guys mention it down in the comment section below, I'm just letting you know that I don't read ahead from only one. So I will always only be one ahead. I won't go 2, I won't go 3, I will only stay 1. So I'm done blabbling. Let's finally get into this. So the episode 10 summary. So, the episode summary for episode 10 is called Koyofu no Kaidan Kiuru. I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese, so forgive me if it doesn't sound right, but for us it is called a horrifying horror duel. I will say off the bat, this is definitely the most interesting name that we've gotten for Yugioh Sevens, as it's been a really lighthearted series so far, so this is really an interesting name for the episode. A horrifying horror duel. Yuga and Co. got tickets to a Roa Roman concert from Roman. They arrive at the place called Seven Hells Hall, which sounds amazing, by the way. Yuga was then by Roa, the vocalist duelist of Roa Roman, to a 3v3 match, with the ownership of Rush Dueling at stake. Rook will have to face off against the first duelist in a nightmare including horror duel. Wow. Let me start off with saying this. Does anyone else got a Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 from reading this summary? I mean, come on, you cannot tell me that you did not immediately, if you watched the other series, which if you're new to this, you might not know what I'm talking about, so I recommend watching the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 to understand what I'm going to be going with in this video. But literally at the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, we had this 3-on-3 situation. And let me explain that real quick for you guys to re-jog your memories of it. The Yusho duel score was in trouble after Yuto had dueled Sawatari and actually ended up injuring him. Basically, the Leo institution decided to go and sue the Yusho duel school because they blamed Yuya because since of their similarities between each other, and even Yuzu having the conflict of was that Yuya or not. And basically what ended up happening was that the Leo institution decided to go up against the Yusho duel school in a 3v3 kind of way to try to get ownership of the Yusho duel school. And it was the case where it ended up going Yuya, Yuzu, and Gun Gensika, whereas the three trio of the Leo institution, the Gem Knight user, the X Saber, and the Constellar users. And that was in the same fashion as it was a 3v3. Now obviously there was actually a fourth duel in that, as it went Yuya won against the Constellar guy, Yuzu lost to the Gem Knight, and then Gun Gensika ended up pulling out a draw against the X Saber duelist. And then we ended up, because of them drawing basically in a 1-1-1 situation, it was going to be the winners matched up, but then we got Yuya versus Akaba Reiji, which was the rival of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So I'm going to say that even this got me those Arc 5 vibes, they might do it a little bit different. Early speculations with this, and let me mention this first. Roa is actually appearing in this episode. We finally get introduced. Roa is finally getting involved in the series. Now, someone has watched every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Sadly, not all sub and dub. I have not watched the sub of the original ones, Zexal and Arc 5. I have not watched the original ones for that. So, yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, from all the series, there is one set of characters that I've loved in every single Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. I think is probably one of the best that Yu-Gi-Oh's done, and that is the rival characters. I know some people have issues with Chaz, but if you don't want to consider Chaz a rival, JX was kind of the exception because it had multiple. I mean, you had Zane, you had Edo, you had those characters which I absolutely loved. Like, even Chaz, every single rival character, Sato Kaiba, one of those three, depending on what you want to do, Jack, Kaido. I will say this right now, Kaido is probably the best rival we have ever had. Akaba Reiji, and the recent one, Revolver. They have all been phenomenal in their series. They honestly would make a top 10 list for me if I had put them together. In fact, I don't even know if I can rank them because I love every single one of them. And Roa, I'm assuming, and a lot of people are going to assume, is going to be the rival. I mean, I would actually be really shocked if Roa was not the actual rival in this series. So that the fact that he's getting involved is really, really great. I've been so excited to see him since episode 9 when we got the last screenshot of him. So I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see his ace monster. I am so excited to see what this studio is going to do with the rivals and see if they can held up to what Studio Gallop has been able to do with their rivals. But let me get into the speculation that a lot of people are having. I have been looking up online to see other people's thoughts on it, as I like to get to know other people's opinions, and already people are going to the case that Roman is going to turn because a lot of things are going on. Roman gave tickets to go and see their concerts, that the Ro and Roma concert, and you're telling me that she is not going to be involved with this conflict? There is no way you can convince me that she's not going to be involved with this. And you think, oh well, we already introduced the Roa, and we know this new character, this mysterious duelist that's going to be doing Rook in this upcoming episode, is part of the Roa Roman group. So you have this 4 against 2. So how are you going to make this fair, though, and make it a 3v3? Well, Roman can end up turning and basically go against the group, which would be a shock to me. I'm surprised in that. And basically she would duel one of the characters, which obviously due process of elimination, it's going to be Gakuto. I mean, you have Rook versus this character, and obviously it's going to be Yuga versus Roa. There is no way you can tell me that it's not going to be Yuga versus Roa. It's just impossible. I would be very, very disappointed if that was the case. But I'm going to be the one to say this, and this might be an unpopular opinion to me. Maybe I'm thinking about this in a wrong way, but if it's the case where it goes Roman versus Gakuto, I don't think I'm going to like that situation. I'm not going to really like that duel as much. As much as I've grown on Gakuto a lot and Roman, I don't think this is the time for them to duel right now. And here's the reason I say this. Right now, both of them have lost a duel. Now you're putting two people that have lost against each other, and a lot of people are saying like, oh, Roman's going to win this duel because you kind of need to have that 1-1 balance to be able to go against for Yuga versus Roa for the, which by the way, I can't wait to explain of why Roa the control of rush duels, because that's what they're dueling for. They're dueling for the ownership of rush duels. So it's going to be really interesting to see why he wants ownership of rush duels. Maybe he works for Goha or something like that. I know that was early speculations that Roman was involved, or like the Kirishimas were involved with Goha, or at least Roa. I think a lot of people got off the train with Roman after episode 3, so I think that situation kind of got off. But that was the case that Roa was actually working for him, and maybe they're doing for that as if he gains ownership of rush duels, they might take it to Goha to delete it or something like that. I don't know why. Or maybe he just wants the fame of rush duels. It could be the case as well. You might be getting, I don't know how to say it, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, I think that's a really interesting thing that they're going for the rush tools. Now, let me get back into that topic real quick. I'm jumping all over the place, dude. This just came out of nowhere, and I'm very excited about it. So the reason why I say I don't think they should duel early is because both of them have a loss, and I feel like if they lose, if one of them lose in this like kind of scenario, I think it's gonna really hurt them in the beginning stages, especially if Gakuto loses, because the thing with Gakuto is Gakuto knows how to duel. And I remember this from episode 7 because I kind of rewatched them. Mimi gave Gakuto VHS tapes of legendary duelists going up against each other. So he's definitely a dueling fanatic. He knows how to duel, he loves dueling, and you cannot tell me he's not really that good at dueling. Now let's look at Roman. In her duel, she did not know how to duel. She didn't know about the setting. She didn't know how about tribute summoning. Sure, she knew like the rules of rush duels, like you start with 4 cards and you draw, yada yada yada. We heard that the last few duels. I mean, you had the hologram man, and then you had the rook duels with Yugioh, and then you had their duel. So obviously she knew that, but because she didn't duel, she didn't know about the whole tribute summoning and stuff like that. So you're telling me that you're going to put her up against Gakuto. Gakuto, basically knowing how to duel, he already knows about the game more than she does. And you're going to say that she's going to beat him? I somehow can't believe that. If that ends up being the case, then you're telling me Gakuto is a crappy duelist because he lost to someone who literally 6 episodes ago ago did not know how to duel. And you're telling me she beats him? I just can't believe that. Now, it might be the case of Rook loses his first duel, but we didn't even get a bio on this character. He's probably going to be a one-shot character. So how in the world are you going to tell me that Rook is going to lose this duel and we don't know anything about this character? If we don't get a bio of this character, I'm going to have to say that Rook is going to have to beat him, and that would be a case like that's where it's going to be really hard for me to like that other duel because one way or the other, one of these characters is going to be screwed. Now, I shouldn't say one case of, because I'm going to say this, Gakuto kind of has to win that duel, because I feel like that would hurt his character for the fact that Roman was able to beat him. But I could see something and this is where I'm going to be going off wild, and I hope you guys have been buckling up, because I have a lot of thoughts to this. But maybe Roman could benefit from a loss in this situation. This is where I'm going to say another plot point that I didn't really hear people talk about, which let me know in the comments below what you guys think the route is going to be in terms of how this 3v3 setup is going to work. And I think Roman having a loss again at this situation, I see something happening is that Roman loses and Yugioh was able to beat Roa the second time, so Roa or wait, how would that? See, that's the thing of how that in the world works. But like, if Roman loses, Roa could get mad at her sister, and because he knows how much she likes performing in the band, kicks her out of the band. And this would make sense with the opening shot that we got of her crying with her guitar case, probably assuming because Roa kicked her out of the band, as she really loves playing music. She loves the band, and she gets kicked out because she loses this duel, which makes her want to become a stronger duelist to prove to her brother that she was not weak, that she can be on her own. Able to grow to the point where she actually beats her brother. I think that would be a really cool plot point thing to go as well, but that would have to depend if they actually do the 3x3 way, where it's the 3 that's not Yugioh, Rook, Roman, and Gakuto versus Rook or Roa and his 3 people, if they do it in a sense like that. Because honestly though, and it would make sense too, because when you think about bands, or at least the bands that I listen to, they normally have 5 members of the group. Or in my certain case for rock, you have your vocalist, which would be Roa. You have your 2 guitarists, which we already know one is Roa, or Roman, excuse me, and then maybe that duelist that we know is the other one, and then you have your drummer, and then you have maybe your pianist, or maybe you'll have like another vocalist in the group. It depends on what the band is. Normally bands would have, or at least the ones I listen to, have 5 in their group, so it can work in that sense. Like Roman decides to stay with the group, or even you can do this as well. You can do Yugioh, Rook, and Gakuto versus Roa and 2 other band members, because there can also be foreign as well, and you just have 1 guitarist, as I do know another band that kind of also has the 4 in that sense as well. So that could work as well. And maybe it's a case where Roman can't choose between the friends that she made and her own brother, and her brother gets mad at her to the point where she gets kicked out of the band. And it kind of also is a case where not only do they fight for rush duels, but they're also fighting for Roman's sake, which I would really enjoy that as well. But that's probably going off the rails in that case. All I know is Rook is going to be dueling against this character, which this character is creepy, might I add. I mean, when I first saw this character, I was actually in shock. This character actually freaked me out, I'm not going to lie. and the tone of his deck, dude. I'm gonna say this right now. His deck is either gonna be a fiend type deck or a zombie deck. You cannot tell me it's not with this kind of character. And like you see like the purple footsteps going by and them just being scared half to death. Like the reactions from, I think it was Gakuto, Yuga, then Kaizo, and then you had the one scream with Rook. I thought was actually kind of funny during that. So it's going to be really interesting. And I don't see Rook losing unless we get a bio for this character, because maybe this character becomes his rival. Maybe the band members of Rowan actually become also the rivals of the other cast. So maybe like Yuga is Roa's rival, Gakuto is rivals with this character he's dueling. Maybe Gakuto gets his own rival, and then Roman might get her rival further down the line. I think that would work really well, but I'm jumping way too ahead of the story. I want to just focus on that, and that's another case. Let me know what you guys think, because this is something really interesting. A lot of people are going to probably agree that Roman is going to turn in. I'm going to be honest, that's probably the route they're going to go, to be honest with you. I kind of hope they don't, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I will still enjoy it. But I feel like Gakuto, if that's the case, it's going to be Rook, then Roman wins. Then it goes up with Yuga versus Roa, and then Yuga wins because he has to, or at least you think he has to still have rush duels. Like, unless it goes to the case where Roa beats him, he takes control of it, and it just drives Yuga to get his rush duels back. Like, maybe that becomes a plot point too, but I guess we're just going to have to see in the upcoming episodes, guys. But, guys, I am very excited to get into this, so I'm going to end it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, let me know in the comments below what route you guys think they're going to take, what we have learned so far, and maybe even give some different points that I did. I think the 3 points that I give are probably the 3 that might happen. I think the one with Roman turning, again, is probably the route they're going to go to make that twist, which the twist is going to be good. I will say if that ends up being the case, but on the terms of how the dueling wise, it's going to probably be a good duel, I'll be honest, but I definitely think there's going to be a little bit of backlash because of what we saw in episode 3, and now you got this. So I think it will be a little bit weird, but maybe I'll still enjoy it. Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard. I overthink a lot of stuff, so it's probably possible. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I just can't wait to be watching Yugioh Sevens again. I am really shocked with Sevens. I think it's been doing pretty well, which I think every Yu-Gi-Oh series has done really well. And maybe if they kept down this route, this might be a top 5 Yu-Gi-Oh show for me. So, which I know isn't that big. It beats basically 2 shows when I was saying that, but hey, for someone that judged this very heavily on, they've been doing very well. And let me know what you guys think of Sevens as a whole from the 9 episodes we already gotten. I'm asking a lot of questions, but I honestly want to know what you guys think about it. I want to talk about this down below, and I know some of you guys, I know someone in the comment section below by the name of Yusei Jaden. We kind of been talking about Roa. We've both been excited to it, but guess what? We finally get to see Roa in this episode, so I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited to see Roa in this, and we get to see the rival in the series, dude. I was excited when we saw Revolver. Was excited when we saw Kaido, Jack, Akaba, Seto. I've been excited with those characters, so I'm bouncing all over the wall. So I've blabbered on long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. And until next time, guys, take care.